Today I'm going to be showing you how to access and navigate the library edition of Ancestry.com. To start, we are on our library's website, prendergastlibrary.org, and then we're going to go down to where it says Online Resources, and then we're going to click on Genealogy. This will take you to the library's genealogy page, which also lists in-house materials that we have available for people to do genealogy research with, along with a few of the online resources that we have available as well. So you're going to scroll halfway down the page until you find the Databases section, and you're going to click on Ancestry.com Library Edition. Now, as a note, this is only available in-house, and you need to come into the library and use one of our computers to access this version of Ancestry. Alright, so when you click on it, it's going to take you to the Ancestry homepage, and the first thing I recommend doing is going to the search feature. When you click on search, it gives you some different categories that you can use. I recommend sticking to the top 3, and if you're new to searching, I recommend just doing an all category search. This will search everything that Ancestry has access to. Alright, to start your search, you need a first name and a last name of the person that you're looking for. I am going to do James Prendergast, and specifically I am doing the James Prendergast that the library is named after. So I'm going to add in his birth year because I do know that, and that is 1848. And I do know that he lived in Jamestown, so I'm going to add that information in. Add as much information as you know. If you have either a birth year or a death year, that will greatly enhance your search results. Now, if you have a death date but not a birth date, you can click on Show More Options, and then you can choose Death and add in that death date. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and search. And this is going to search all the census records, birth records, death records, anything that Ancestry has. So our first result you can see is a Find a Grave result. So this is an outside website that you can access for free from your browser called findagrave.com. But the Ancestry does list these results within it, and you can look at the information that's available from that site. So information listed here: his name, birthday, death date, where he died, where he's buried, and some other information, his mother and father. Now if we wanted to look at the actual website results, we can click on that link and it'll take you to the page for information about James Prendergast on the findagrave.com site. Alright, we are going to go back to Ancestry, and let's go look at some of the other results that we have. So I want to look at one of the census results. So we're going to look at the 1870 federal census here. And so it takes us to that page, so it shows us the information provided in that census. So in 1870, James Prendergast was 22. It gives us the year he was born, where he was living, and at this time, it looks like he was living with his mother and father, and there were some other people living there. Since they have other last names, presumably they were either boarders or workers that lived on the property as well. And then over here you'll see an image, and this is a scanned image of the original document. So if we click on View, we can actually look at where this information is coming from, and then you can verify to see if the transcribed information is correct or if they're miscalculating or mistranscribing some information. So we see Alex Prendergast, Mary, and James with their ages, if they're male or female, what their occupations were. So the other names that were listed, we can see one was a farm laborer and one was a house servant. So they did live and work on that property. And then also there are some other categories from this census. So those are some of the cool features as far as searching and finding information in Ancestry. So when you're doing searching in Ancestry, it's kind of like doing a puzzle. You have to kind of find relevant information about the person you know and then look back. So say we knew about James Prendergast, but we didn't know about his family. Now we know who his mother and father were, and then we could start by searching their information or the information that we found. Alright, let's go back to the search results, and we can see some other information that was pulled up. So there's a 1850 census, and we'll notice that the name here is spelled really badly to a degree. It is not how we spell Prendergast, but the other information does match or is close. So in this case, it could be that whoever took down the information for the census didn't know how to spell the name and just spelled it how they thought it was. Or maybe when we look at the image, we'll find that the whoever transcribed it just wasn't able to read the handwriting. And here we can see they put, looks like a double D in there, which is not how we spell the name, and that it is very hard to read. So that information, that is something to watch out for as you're searching on Ancestry, that a lot of these records were handwritten, and the people that were writing down the information didn't always write it down correctly. So surnames are often misspelled from the way they are currently spelled. And same thing with first names, especially if it's an uncommon name or a name with multiple spellings. A lot of times it would be misspelled from what you might be expecting. So you want your searches to be broad enough to capture that. And so don't discount just because something is misspelled. Look at the other information available to see if it matches. If we go back up, we can look at our search filters over here on the left-hand side. And right now, all of our filters are pretty broad. So it's searching for anything, that name or broader or something similar to it. Now we can tell it that we want something that's more exact or closer. So we can narrow those down. And then when we do that, we will see that it went from 20,000 results down to 9. So if you do that and it pulls too few, you can just back those up again and redo the search and see what comes up there. Now the further back you get, the less records there are, or the harder it is to find relevant records with enough information. The further back you go in the census, they only listed the head of household and they didn't list the names of the others living in the household, just how many people lived there. All right, so that is how you do a basic search for Ancestry.